for the day. With it being Holy Week or Resurrection Week, I wanted to just give a small illustration of the importance of this week, of why we celebrate Resurrection Week. Not just for the Easter egg hunts and the good outfits, but the real reason that Jesus came and he died for us and was risen from the dead to conquer hell, death, and the grave. I know I've done this illustration maybe a couple of years ago, but I just thought it was the important thing to do this week, to reshare that it's that important. I got a couple of items here. I have some clear water here that represents us as human beings, as people. And this is us. We're born. We're babies. You know, we don't know right from wrong, and we grow and we try to be pure. We want to be pure before God. And we're taught right from wrong and don't do this, and we try our hardest. But somewhere along life, sin comes along. Now I have this dark water here because this represents sin. Of course, we use light and darkness. But sin comes along and gets introduced into our life. And the funny thing I want to allude to sin is, oftentimes we talk about sinners, and people are sinners. Yes, we are all sinners because we all fall short of the glory of God. But let me make this perfectly clear. Sometimes sin is introduced into our life because of things that we do when we don't listen to God. But then sometimes sin is introduced into our life by others, family members, aunts, uncles, people who are close to us at a young age, who introduced us to inappropriate things. And when we grow older, we get stuck on those things. So sometimes you had family members that introduced you to alcohol and drugs when you were younger, and now you can't shake it. Introduced you to sex. There's a lot of things. So the point is, sin somehow is introduced into your life. So this is us trying to be pure when we're young. We know right from wrong, but then sin comes along, whether it's through our own fault or someone of our own, or someone else's, and sin gets introduced to our life. And as you see, we go from being pure and trying to be holy to now we're kind of contaminated. And sometimes we repent and we try to say, take this sin back, God. But sometimes it just seems like in our own mind, in our own ways, we can't get rid of it. The more we try to get rid of sin, the more sin pours back into us. And it just seems like we can't get whole and we can't get pure again, that we're always going to be contaminated. We can't get rid of the sin. But that's the importance of Resurrection Week. That Christ loved us. That God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. That he would die for us. He would live a sinless life. And he would bear the sins for us and take the judgment and the punishment so that we don't have to, so that we can have life with him again. So now that sin has been introduced into our life, here we are at Holy Week with Christ, who is pure. His sacrifice on the cross. And what his sacrifice did was, it was able to take our sin away. So he poured out of himself so that we can become pure again. Not just so much that we can become pure, that our sin was cleared up, that we can be pure and we can be holy, and we can get rid of those things that were introduced into our life so we can have a blameless life. But when he died on the cross, not only did he conquer sin in our lives, he conquered sin and the devil. So all those things that used to be sin are now defeated. That's what Resurrection Week is about. It's about Christ's sacrifice, but his pouring out purifies us and also cancels out sin. So now it can't contaminate us, because we can always look to the sacrifice and look to our Father, who loved us so much that he was willing to give of himself so that we can be pure and holy and redeemed again. Have a blessed day and have a blessed week.